All right, so we've been in the business of sustainability for over 29 years. And we were established in 1994, and we are owned by the Hotel Association. And the return on investment calculator will do things like, say, one of our suppliers, Light & Co. If you wanted to change all of your incandescent regular light bulbs into LEDs, this ROI calculator will tell you, okay, so this is your short and long-term gain. This is how much it will cost. And is it even a good idea? If you were taking the example of solar power instead, maybe your hotel is overshadowed too much. So perhaps solar power isn't a good idea. So you would answer some questions and come to that conclusion. So that would be very useful. We have enhanced member resources. We have white papers. We have some great people, scientists, etc., coming onto our board. Who are presenting webinars and education for you. And all of those new webinars and educational features will be sent to you in the newsletter or sometimes in an extra communication to show you the things that are coming up that you should or may want to join. We have a new meetings program that's coming out, which is going to be aligned with the GSTC standards. So we will have a lot more questions around the event portion and AV portion. We have a new data partner, which will mean that we can benchmark results for you against the rest of our membership, and many more reports will be able to be pulled very easily for you. We have a carbon accounting tool, a free calculator where you can calculate your carbon footprint, and also a carbon accounting firm that can help you through your carbon accounting journey. That part isn't free, it's at a discount, but still that's available. One of the most exciting things that we have developed is also carbon neutral event certification. So what this is that we can now certify your individual events, meetings, conferences to be carbon neutral. It is a form of a calculator. There's a number of questions you answer in the calculator. For example, your registration list. Where did all your people come from? Did they take the train? Did they drive? Did they cycle? What is your menu like? Does it have a vegan component to it? What AV company are you using? Are they considered to be a green company? Are you using plastic water bottles still, or is everything in a jug, etc.? So many questions like that you answer, and then your carbon footprint will be given to you for that event. Now, we will try and help you with changing behavior. If, say, you do needed to take away the plastic water bottles and put water into a jug, etc. So after that, the carbon footprint that is left will be offsetted by one of our carbon offset providers at a discount. So then you'll be able to declare your event carbon neutral. And lastly, on my little diagram there, we're going for accreditation with the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Nobody is accredited yet in our realm, so we will be the first certification board to be accredited by the end of 2024. And at the moment, we are the highest standard and the most credible sustainability, third-party sustainability certification for hotels and event spaces that you can get. So moving on, how it works. So most of you will remember this because you would probably have done one assessment already, or two or three. These are the areas of assessment, and they haven't changed that much. Energy and water conservation, solid waste and hazard waste management, indoor air quality, and community outreach. Community outreach has been expanded a little. We're taking more into account how you're giving back to your community. Are you, if you've got any of those soaps left, individual soaps, are you giving those to an organization like Soap for Hope that can rewash the soap and give it out to the homeless or to women's shelters, etc. Building infrastructure, are all your pipes insulated? Land use, are you taking some of that grey water from the baths and showers and irrigating any land if you're a bigger hotel? And environmental management, of course, in the corporate office. And then we've added environmental social governance and corporate social responsibility and some regenerative tourism. Lots of words there. And so moving on. So this hasn't changed either, and this is specific to hotels. So these are the areas, your key performance areas where you are assessed. And what we always recommend is that you form a green team from each of these areas to help fill out the assessment. Obviously, we know, as we're part of the Hotel Association, that it's difficult at the moment. Maybe you're not fully staffed. Maybe the general manager has 4 or 5 different jobs. So it can be done by one person or many people. And there really isn't a time limit, apart from you want to get the assessment finished and the audit done so you can receive your certification. So corporate environmental management is usually the GM or the corporate office, but it can be your director of sales. It's whoever holds those policies and who's running the sustainability arm at your property. Housekeeping, food and beverage, conference meetings, and engineering. A large amount of the questions do sit in engineering just because of the physical pipes and building that is assessed. So moving forward again. So this is the process. This is the part that has changed. And I'll go over this, but we're going to have lots of questions on this later. So you begin and register online like you always had, or you're already registered, so you're fine. You just take your new assessment. The new assessment is sitting waiting for you. As soon as you go into your profile and click take new assessment, it will take you into the version 4, which is our latest assessment with all the new things that I described. So you go through and you take your assessment, your old questions populate into your new assessment, and it will show you all the new questions you have to answer. You answer them, and then you press submit. At this point, there's actually a checklist. So if you haven't answered something or you've omitted to upload some information, it will tell you, and it will have some crosses by the section. Cross, cross, cross. Oh, cross in housekeeping. You haven't answered something there. Go back to housekeeping and answer this question. So it will prompt you to make sure that you have everything in there that you need. So then you press submit once you've got through that part. You've submitted, and then you receive a scorecard, which is extremely helpful, and this part's new. And it's going to tell you, okay, Mr. Hotel, you are at key level 3. But if you want to get to key level 4, we suggest answering these questions over in engineering, because you can answer those and then you might move up 1 level. You can actually sit here for as long as you like, but keep submitting, keep updating your score, submit, but that's up to you. That will just take longer to get to the end result, but you can sit there. So once you're happy with your score, then you submit for an audit. And now at this point, everything is locked, so you can't change anything now. So when you submit for an audit, normally it would say, okay, you can choose a remote audit or an in-person audit. Now, the remote audit usually is $500, and the in-person audit, when they come to your property, is $2,500. This is because the carbon footprint that comes along with an in-person going to your property audit is way, way bigger. And especially in Canada and North America, you're flying to get to that destination. So as a responsible certification board, we have to charge more for that. But the good news is that the remote and the in-person is absolutely identical in terms of rigor and acceptance. So what would actually happen would be you will walk around the hotel with a phone or an iPad or a laptop live with the auditor. And some of us have actually done this with them, and they go into the fridge. They're like, okay, we're going into the fridge now. You go in, and it takes about 4 hours usually, and they take you all around the hotel at random. So it's very impressive and extremely rigorous. Now, the good news here, which I mentioned earlier, is everybody that's already a member, it's free. We're giving it to you free to ease the transition, and it's going to be valid for 3 years. So if you take your audit this year, completely free, and then you'll have that for 3 years. You would just, the only difference will be you will be paying a little bit more for registration. It's gone up to $750 now when it was $450. But also if you're one of those MSA members, I think there's a discount there too. So it's gone up a couple of $100, but as you can see, so much more value and credibility has gone into the certificate. We're not for profit, so everything goes back into the program and makes it better all the time. So once you've done your audit, you've applied for it, takes anywhere up to 90 to 120 days to get that portion done. 2 weeks later, or within 2 weeks, you receive your certificate. So your certificate will tell you, and your report of your assessment. It will tell you which key level you're on. You already know that, but you'll have that in a certificate. And it will also provide you with a performance report. So you already have your scorecard and you have your assessment answers, etc., emailed to you. You have a performance report, and this part's really important. So it tells you everything that you've done right in detail, and that you can communicate to your staff, to your guests, etc., how you got to your key level. And then it also gives you what you should do next to improve. So it will say all of these things can be done. If you do this, this, and this, you can up your key level in the future. So it's a map. It is a definite map for you to move forward. And then we help you market your efforts. So Ailey is going to touch on the marketing of the efforts as well. But if we move slides, I think she's up next. Nope, she's not. It's still me. So I mentioned this earlier. These are our MSA partners currently. There will be more. But if you're any one of these organizations currently, you will have that help button likely in your assessment, and you will have a discount and other benefits. But we are, to let you know, without any of these discounts, we are still the most affordable program in North America. Thank you, Ailey.
All right, so now I'm going to hop on and show you how to actually take the steps to do the new certification. So many of you have already done the assessment. So now you need to go in and take the new version of the assessment. So the first step is to log on to the members dashboard. And if you don't have your login, you can either click forgot my password or reach out to one of us, and then we can get you your user information. And once you're on the dashboard, you will see this here that says complete your green key eco rating assessment, and you just click get started. Sorry, it's not clicking. So from there, you'll get two options if you've already taken the assessment before. If not, you'll already be prompted to start filling out the assessment. But if you've done it before and you need to upgrade to the new version, you'll see view assessment and retake assessment. From there, you just click retake assessment. You'll then get this notification that says that an email will be sent to whatever email is on file. That just confirms that it has been upgraded. And then the next step, once you've gotten that email, is to reload the page and log in. And then the next time you log in, your dashboard will look like this when you click Start Assessment. And there's a helpful walkthrough video to watch, as well as some tips on who should complete the assessment and how to complete the assessment, as well as support. So once you've completed the assessment and you've submitted the documentation, like Rebecca mentioned, there will be a tab that shows you what you're missing. So if you forgot to submit some documentation, or in my test case, I forgot to include the name of who completed the assessment, everything that you're missing will show up right in the next page. It'll say what you're missing, and you'll just go in and redo that part, whether it's submitting documentation or, in my case, adding the name of the person who completed the assessment. Once you've done that, you'll now have completed the first two steps, and the next step is to do the audit. But if you aren't happy with what your score is at and there's some changes that you want to make at the property, you can actually click that retake assessment button as many times as you want in order to get that rating that you want. So if there's a couple small changes that you need to make just to get to the next key rating, you're welcome to do that, and then retake the assessment before booking the audit. Once the audit has been booked, you can no longer click retake assessment, and your assessment is locked in. When you're ready for the assessment, you choose if you want a virtual or on-site audit. As Rebecca mentioned, we recommend the virtual audit. This is because it's more cost-effective and there's no carbon footprint associated. So you click the type of audit. I circled virtual since it's a recommended, and then you'll receive an invoice. Legacy members will get an invoice for $0 this year, since the legacy members get a complimentary audit. These audits are valid for 3 years, so you don't have to redo it for another 3 years. Once you have gotten that complete, you'll get an email that will say your invoice and say that you've completed that step. And the next step is to go back to the same part on the dashboard and click the Request Audit tab. And then you click the Request Audit button. And within 90 days, the auditor will be in touch with you to schedule your audit. Once you're certified and you've completed all of the steps and gotten your official certification, we have many tools to help market your efforts. So we built out a roster of guest-facing materials that you can use. These will all be available in the new year. For now, we do have a guest-facing one-pager, but we're going to have a website landing page and some in-room ads to help talk about your sustainability efforts to guests. We also have some staff training materials to help educate staff on the sustainability initiatives that you have, as well as many other tools. There's also tips to improve your rating, like department checklists and stuff like that. And you'll also get more personalized tips in your sustainability report that you get after you're completed the audit and assessment. And if ever you need to access your certificate, you can download it right from the members area as well. There's also the option to purchase a personalized plaque. That's this beautiful wooden plaque that you can display at your property. Now, Rebecca's going to hop back on and let you know some things that we're going to send you after this webinar.
Thank you, Ailey. So just to let you know, Ailey is your member services person. So when you're emailing, she will be able to help you. She'll be able to jump on a call with you whenever you want. And also Anu and I are here to help as well. So we've got lots of people that will be able to help, and also Control Union. So this is just telling you all the things that we're going to send you after this webinar. So one, we're going to send you this deck so you have it and you can communicate to your staff. And then all of these informational documents. One of the most important ones is the what to expect document. Within that document, it will walk you through, like we have the whole thing, but in writing. And there's also 2 video links that will walk you through the assessment and the audit process. So those video links are very helpful. So we will send you also the mandatory questions. So with our assessment, there's about 12 mandatory questions. If you answer all of those questions in a positive manner, you will be at level 1. So you've already passed. So that's just a baseline to think about. And then we'll send you all of the different programs that we talked about. We'll send you information on that. And one of the most helpful things I think that we're going to send you is a checklist for every area of the hotel. So when your housekeeper wakes up in the morning, she'll have a list that she can think, okay, this is my daily checklist for sustainability. I'm going to do all these things today, or I've done this already, or I'm just going to check on these things. So absolutely, all of these things will be sent to you afterwards. Now, I'm going to open up the floor now, or Anu, you're going to help open up the floor for questions. So we do have Ada for Control Union here, who is the auditor expert as well. Ada, if you can show your face, that would be amazing. And let's go for some questions. I'm sure you all have lots. Anu, do we have any questions?
No questions at the moment.
Okay, so what we're going to do then is, while we're waiting for questions, Ailey's going to bring up the FAQs that we already have in place, which are some of the questions that are asked all the time of us. So let's bring that up, Ailey.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment and then I'll pull that up and share again.
And don't be shy. Questions are really good. We know that we've given you a lot of information, so any question is relevant. Nothing isn't. Oh, I think I see a question. What's that one? Can you read it?
Yes, so we have a question from someone that says, our hotel has lost access to our account due to turnover. Do you have a contact email for me to gain access?
Absolutely. So all you need to do is email Ailey, and her email is at the end of the presentation, and she can find that for you. So, and you can change it as much as you want, and she'll also show you how you can update your profile in the future. So that's a nice, easy one. Thank you.
A couple people have their hands raised as well. So we have Sheila Bateman with her hand raised. I think you should be able to unmute yourself, Sheila. If not, you can type it in the Q&A chat.
In the meantime, we also have a question from Lucy Vu. It says, how connected are Green Keys with 17 goals from the United Nations?
Right, so we're aligned with all of the 17 United Nations goals. So once you've answered all the assessment questions, every one of those United Nations goals will apply to one area of your hotel. So completely connected.
All right, I'm going to allow Sheila to talk. There we
Hi,
go. Whenever
Sheila.
you're ready, Sheila.
Oh, you just have to unmute yourself, Sheila.
Sorry, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I don't want to ask a question.
That's okay. We will do it.
Okay.
Oh, you pushed mute again.
Oh, I think she didn't mean to raise her hand, possibly.
Oh,
But
okay.
we have another hand raised. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. It's Vahed. So I'm gonna allow Vahed to talk.
Hi, Vahed.
Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Thank you for this good meeting you put together for today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. I think we talked about during the summit in Seattle. The, we had an assessment. It was while ago happened, but our certificate is valid till 2025. So I want to see if do we need to reassessment or we can wait till that time in 2025, beginning of 2025, and do the assessment that time.
So you do need to do the new assessment. You have to send us your certification because we don't normally have dates on them, as far as I know, but we'll check that. But you will need to do the new assessment within a year, Vahid, if you can. The reason that we're asking you to do it this year is that you will get the free audit. So that's one of the main things. So you won't need to pay for the audit for the next 3 years. So that's one of the main reasons for taking it this year in 23.
But the certification will be valid till 2025, right?
It would be for 3 years, the new certification, yes.
I'm asking about the certificate that we have right now.
Currently, you need to renew upon your renewal date. So every year you renew, you will get a new certificate moving forward.
Okay.
So in answer to your big question, yes, you should take it this year. Any more questions coming up? Thank you.
We have another question from Danielle that says, is there a deadline for requesting the audit?
Yeah, so I mean, like I just said, you can take your new assessment within the next year from your review date. But if you want to get it free, it's by the end of this year.
All right. And in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen and we'll look at some of the audit FAQs.
So Ailey, if you can start reading them off in the interest of time.
Yeah. So the first one is, what is the audit process? Do you want me to get into that, Rebecca, or do you want to answer it?
No, you can go into it.
Sure. So the audit process, once you have paid for the audit, your assessment is locked, like we had mentioned, and within 90 to 120 days, your audit will be scheduled. So before the date of the audit, your auditor will review the documentation that you submitted, and during the audit, they'll go through your assessment questions that you answered and do a walkthrough of the building, including guest rooms and areas of operation. And this does require a phone or tablet or something to do virtual conferences like Zoom or Google Meets with. And then within 2 weeks of the audit completion, you'll get your finalized certification. And with that, you'll get a performance report, your eco rating, and specific recommendations for your property. Another common question is, what is the difference between an on-site and a virtual audit? Audits help verify the validity of a hotel's self-assessment. Both cases, they look at the documentation that was submitted prior to signing up for the audit, and the audit virtually is just hosted through a video conferencing platform, whereas an in-person audit involves the verifier to travel to the hotel to complete the audit. They're both equally as rigorous though, and will get the same level of validity.
Ailey, we have one more question. We just take that question in the meantime.
So we have a question from Lucy.
Go ahead.
Oh, it says if we're not a member yet, can we still have access to the assessment template to review before being committed to as members? And then can we have the audit free? I'm guessing is fee.
So
They were looking for the audit fee.
Fee.
the fee. Oh, okay. So the first question, to answer your first part, we can't send you the assessment beforehand because it is proprietary. You do need to pay for that, but we can send you the mandatory questions, so you'll know what those 12 questions are that get you to the pass or fail level, pass level. So we can definitely send you those two things. And the question was, the audit fee is $500 for the remote and $2,500 for an in-person.
And to add on to what Rebecca mentioned, in the package that we're sending along after this, it'll actually include the mandatory questions. So it's going to be in that info sheet tab of the file.
Okay, well, we
Right,
have a
so-
couple more questions.
Yeah, we'll go through some of the ones that haven't been answered yet. So one of the questions is, do I get to choose which type of audit the hotel receives? And yes, it's up to you to decide if you want a virtual or in-person audit. It is advised that hotels in Quebec conduct an in-person audit. How long does a virtual audit typically take to complete? Virtual audits generally take about 4 hours. How long does an on-site audit take to complete? It takes about 8 hours for an on-site. Who needs to be present during the virtual audit? Whoever did the self-assessment is the best person to be present during the audit, as well as representatives from each area that were included in the plan. Can I resubmit documentation before the audit is finalized? So documents will need to be submitted before or during the audit. Once the audit is finalized, though, the process is considered closed and you cannot submit any more documentation after the audit is finished. I think most of the other ones we went through. The other one is, do all members receive an audit after completing the eco rating assessment? So this is new to Green Key. So previously it was a more randomized basis, but now every single member gets audited upon signing up and once every 3 years thereafter.
So all of these upgrades have been made to keep up with industry standards and also to the Global Sustainable Tourism Council standards as well. So as sustainability increases, as there's more things that are involved in sustainability, we of course have to increase our level of assessment and audit, so to remain credible. So you can be assured that once you've completed this whole process, you have credible initiatives which you can talk to, which you can tell your guests about and be very proud of. I don't know if Control Union, Ada, if you have anything else to add. This is your area of expertise, of course.
Thank you, Rebecca and Green Key team, for the invitation. Not that much. I think that you cover pretty well all the aspects of certifications, but just to give you a reminder that whenever the auditor is there, well, on site or remotely, the aim always of the auditor is to find these criteria or discover these indicators with the aim of the continuous improvement. That's it. Certification, it's all about continuous improvement, ways that the company can save in resources, apply better practices, and not like the normal idea of the auditors being the bad cop during the assessment. We are there to support as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Ada. That's a really important point. And just to expand on that even more, we are here to help the cause of sustainability and help hotels and tourism be more sustainable. So every level of certification that you reach, be it a 1 or a 5 is the highest level, it is all to be celebrated. And one last point I'll leave you with is, if you are a limited service hotel and you don't have a pool or you don't have a restaurant, you can opt out of those food and beverage or entertainment questions, and your assessment will reduce the number of questions, so we're all at a level playing field. Oh, we have more questions, Anu. Oh, you're muted.
Apologies. So Karina wants to know, how do I know if I need an audit this year?
Everybody that takes the new assessment needs an audit this year. So it's upon your renewal date. So if your renewal date is anytime from September onwards, you need to take the new assessment and an audit.
And then moving forward, Rebecca, can you elaborate on how they'll know when their next audit is due?
So it's every 3 years. So you will get a notification after 3 years that you need to have your next audit.
Lucy would also like to know, can you tell her a bit more about any options about offsetting carbon footprints that Green Key has available?
Yes, so this is available through our carbon neutral events program only at the moment. It's with Carbon Zero, and we have chosen a portfolio of 3 different initiatives. I don't have them immediately, but we will take your email and I'll send them to you. I think we have one in the US and 2 in Canada, if I remember rightly. But they're all very great causes. So what we do is we will offer that portfolio at a discount to make your individual event carbon neutral. Now, we do have Carbon Zero as a supplier as well. So we can send you their details and you're welcome to talk to them directly too. And
the last question for now, we have Sheila asking, she said, I have paid a Green Key program renewal fee, $750 in August, and now there will be a $500 audit fee virtual next. So she wants to know if that's correct.
Okay, no. So if you weren't already a member, then yes, you would need to pay the $500, but you already are a member. So when you go, you've already done your assessment, you've already renewed in August. When that assessment's complete, so your assessment is probably just sitting there waiting for audit. So you just need to go to press the take audit button, and Amy, you can bring that on the screen again in a second. And then the invoice will come up at 0 for you. So the audit is free. So we've given the audit to everybody free this year, so that it will help the transition. So $750, yes, that's lovely. Thank you very much. And then your audit is free.
So to add on to Rebecca's point, I'm not sure where you are at the moment, Sheila, in the process, but you'll likely need to retake the assessment if you haven't already done so. So to do that, you just click Get Started and then retake assessment. And then once you're done with that process, the next step will be to select which audit you want. And as a legacy member, when you click virtual audit, you'll get an invoice this year for $0. So it's free for you this year. And then once that email to confirm that you've selected that has gone through, you click the next tab, which is request audit, and then you request it. And you won't need to pay for the audit for 3 years when your next audit is due.
Fabulous. One of the other services that we provide is that we can walk you through this process like we're doing right now, one-on-one. So when we send up the follow-up email, there'll be a little icon to press to book a meeting with Ailey, and she'll be able to walk through whatever your questions are and the whole process again if you need that. So we are all here to help you on your journey. So please reach out to us with any question. Like I said, any question is a valid question. But you will get all these documents right now after the meeting, and then Ailey's contact and how to book a meeting with her as well. And lastly but not least, we plant a tree for every new member. So you'll see this coming up as our charity partner. And actually, when the tree is planted, you can follow its journey as it gets bigger, which is quite cute too. Okay, well, I think I can give everybody 15 minutes of their life back. And to get on with other things, but thank you so much for joining us, Ada as well. Thank you so much for being here. We do have another 2 webinars scheduled, so if you wanted to join the other 2 webinars, we'll send that information to you as well. But hopefully this has been a help for you all, and I look forward to having you all completely certified soon. Thank you very much.